tourist bus of folks from out of town. For 40 days and 40 nights, they covered miles of ground. They had a map and compass.
The next stop that we made was a biogas factory. I have to say, University of California, Davis has done a remarkable job in bringing together brilliant people. And they really sort of made me think twice about public and private partnerships. And I'll talk more about that as we go along. But one of their professors, a chemistry professor at University of Davis, is running this biogas plant. In her lab, she developed more efficient microbes, or bugs, as she called them, and she was there to show us how they worked and what they did. Big vats, the food, 50 tons every day, is delivered to that biogas plant. Most of it, or at least a lot of it, comes from the university, but they had room for more, so now they're taking from private restaurants and stuff like that, which is good because it saves a larger tipping fee, and it keeps things out of the landfill or keeps things out of an incinerator, because all of it goes into a big vat. It's huge, size of a house practically, and the bugs, the microbes, digest it. So you could call it a digester, I guess. The byproduct of this digestion is methane. And it is piped into another part of the operation that cleans it up. And then it is burned there on site with CAP3 generators, very small generators that are quiet and not very big. You'll see a picture of them. And it is converted, that gas is converted into electricity, which is then put right back into the grid that serves the campus. This is a bigger unit than most other biodigester units, and it's also different. It's copyrighted because the microbe mix is more intense, and I guess they're hungrier bugs. They eat up the waste faster and develop more methane. Now, the interesting thing about biogas is that it is carbon neutral. That means that the methane that is produced is already considered and measured in the mix of agricultural products and growing things. The reason it's carbon neutral is because that comes from vegetables that are grown either there or elsewhere. And those vegetables would go back into the ground on the farm in a compost pile. They'd be turned under. They'd be disposed of in other ways. So you're not creating more carbon. You are just completing the cycle in a slightly different way. So biogas is carbon neutral. That's the ruling from University of Davis in California, and it makes a lot of sense. So these biogas digesters can work in cities. She said there were smaller units in cities. There is an odor problem when the food is the food waste is delivered, because some of it is rotting. They have a big concrete pad. The truck dumps it there, and then a bulldozer scoops it up and gets it into a vat as soon as possible. So the waste, the smell of the rotting food doesn't last long, but it is present, so you'd have to be very careful where you sited this. This is out in a big open field. It's not near any houses or anything like that. So the smell comes, the smell goes. The workers are used to it. There's no hope for it or help for that part of it yet. And they generate electricity, and it's clean and it's green, and it is a really important part of the university's electricity, which is also clean and green.
I saw a great big tourist bus of folks from out of town. For 40 days and 40 nights, they covered miles of ground. They had a map and compass, but they still were not arriving. Oh, they couldn't get to Pleasantville, so they kept on driving. And then one day the sirens blew, the county